North Carolina head football coach Mack Brown was on with Adam Gold earlier today. You can catch that full interview on the Best of the Adam Gold podcast. But a couple things that stuck out to me were in relation to the defensive improvements. There are some similarities to the last time Carolina won the Coastal Division, Giglio, which was, 2015. Gene Chizik was the defensive coordinator at that time.
Yes.
And after they lost to South Carolina to start the season in disappointing fashion, they ran the table, right? And they did so with a defense that wasn't overwhelmingly great, but they made the stops that were necessary for Marquise Williams and the offense to go make a big play. And that's where the similarity happens with this squad, right? There's this huge disappointing loss to Notre Dame, but from that point on, they've made the necessary plays. They're still not a great defense, and every defensive metric will tell you that. I'm not saying anything that is, going to be outlandish for the coaching staff. I mean, look at the numbers that that Wake Forest put up on them. However, when you've got Drake Maye and the way that offense is working right now, all you need from the defense is one stop. You need one series to give Drake Maye a chance to help win the game. And that's pretty much what they've done the whole entire way. And it all happens usually in the fourth quarter, right? They step up when they need it. And Adam Gold asked Mack Brown about the defensive improvements, more to the point about that last play that's necessary earlier today.
We're blitzing more. We're putting more pressure on the quarterback. We couldn't get there without pressure, so we couldn't pressure with just 4. We're tackling better in the front in the front 7. We're stopping the run better, and we're actually covering some better in the secondary. We're still giving up too many big plays, but we're missing fewer tackles. We're still missing too many, and we're giving up fewer explosives. The explosive plays early in the year just absolutely killed us. It's the only thing right now we're doing wrong, but these guys are giving up about 24 points a game in ACC play and gave up no points another fourth quarter the other night.
That's Mack Brown on with Adam Gold earlier today. And Gold also asked Mack Brown about Drake Maye and the Heisman. I mean, right now, their quarterback is putting up huge numbers. He's the reason why they won the Coastal, along with dynamic playmakers like Antoine Green and Josh Downs. But, I mean, when you look at the numbers, it's hard to deny a conversation about Drake Maye and the Heisman. At the very least, he's going to show up in New York at this point. And here's Mack Brown's take on Drake Maye and the Heisman.
We've got to continue to play well as a team and win. I've been to New York 3 times with Ricky Williams, who won, with Colt McCoy and Vince Young, who won enough to get there and didn't win the Heisman Trophy. So I know what it takes. I know it's crazy this time of the year. You got to keep playing. And one thing Drake has done that's so unusual for a freshman, he's played every week at a very high level. And I thought last week going to Wake Forest, they're 19-3 at home since 2019. I thought that they play hard. They'd lost 2 games in a row. They're a bunch of seniors. We were going to get their best shot. I thought that would be a really good test for him, and he stepped way up and raised the standard again. So I'm all in. I think he's really, really good, and just got to keep playing, and we got to help him as a team. The Heisman's really a team award,
right?
Even though an individual gets it, but if you don't win, they usually look somewhere else.
So that's Mack Brown, head coach, North Carolina, on with Adam Gold earlier today. Again, you can catch that full interview on the Best of the Adam Gold podcast. Now, Giglio, you're on board with Drake Maye and the Heisman conversation, right?
Absolutely.
We can have this conversation. We've been on this conversation for a while.
Yes.
You can't deny the numbers.
Deny the numbers, deny the ability, deny his value to the team and what he means.
Value to the team is huge.
Absolutely.
Okay? Huge when we have this conversation. You know, obviously, oftentimes we talk about most valuable player, and that's open to interpretation. What is the value? Well, I mean, in pro sports, well, yeah, LeBron James would probably win all the MVP awards because of the value. He can't win them all, right? Or Shaquille O'Neal, he couldn't win them all because of the value of what he brought to the table. So I think people understand that concept. The issue that people are having, I think, when it comes to Drake Maye and the Heisman is that we're conflating 2 topics. There's the individual performance, and then there's the team and where they belong in the college football playoff pecking order. 2 things can be true. Drake Maye can be a legitimate Heisman contender, and hell, I would vote for him if I had a vote at this point. And also point out that the college football playoff will not feature North Carolina, even if they beat Clemson in the ACC championship game. Well, how can this be? Well, that's easy, because look at Carolina's schedule. Look at who they've beaten and how they've beaten them. That's a legitimate problem for the Tar Heels when it comes to the college football playoff. Now, if you want to spin me a tale of the remaining 2 weeks of the regular season and the championship games of a variety of teams losing, a chain reaction that would get like a group of 5 team in the college football playoff like we had last year, okay, cool. We can have those crazy scenarios. But you're kind of making the point for me that you need to move heaven and earth for Carolina to even be in the conversation. And the reason why they're not in the conversation right now is the teams they've played have done them no favors, and they haven't been overly dominant. That is a flawed team that happens to be a one-loss team. You cannot knock them for the teams that they've played. You give them credit for beating them, but how you play, how you win, all that stuff does get factored into the College Football Playoff Committee, and it does them no favors. And I think 2 things can be true. Drake Maye Heisman? Yeah. College Football Playoff? No.
Yeah, the Coastal Division has let North Carolina down, is what it comes down to.
Yep.
And even Wake Forest, by losing to Louisville and NC State before they saw them, let them down.
NC State's going to let
and
UNC
NC State
down.
now will be out of the rankings by the time they play them. We'll let them down. Clemson has a loss. They both happen to have the same loss to Notre Dame. I think those are all things that are conspiring against North Carolina. I don't think there's anything wrong with North Carolina's non-conference schedule. They play 2 games on the road. App State is normally a double-digit win team. They're just not this year.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens. But to me, Virginia Tech, Miami, that's where you point the finger. Right now they have 2 wins over – they have Pitt, Duke, and Wake are the only teams that they have wins that have a winning record.
Yes.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
And the one good team that is ranked by the College Football Playoff Committee, they lost to.
And some Carolina fans are having a hard time processing this. It's like
they're not. They just want everything.
They want
That's
everything?
They want everything.
What is
it? This is what this all comes down to.
Is with the Carolina privilege?
Yes, that's all this is. They don't even care about the playoff. They don't even care about football. Okay? Don't buy into it. They care about football this week and next week. And then they want to dance on your grave. And that's all they care about.
Hold on.
Nope.
Carolina football fans exist.
No, they do.
Are they a large group?
It's a pastime. It's a hobby.
Okay, fine.
As Bo Jackson once said, it's a hobby.
I'm going to give a shout out to the actual Carolina football fans that do exist out there, and they do ride with this thing. To your point, though, what you just said at the end, they just want to dance on the graves.
It's really hard to be a Carolina football fan when every 4 years you win a national championship in men's basketball. Oh, it's so hard. Oh, my God.
You know what this is? I'm going to tell you what the kids say. Cope harder, Giglio.
Okay.
That's really what this is. Cope harder. Yeah, Carolina gets a bunch of nice things. But I'm with you. I'm with you in the grand scheme of things. Y'all, you can't have everything, okay? And I know you're used to getting your way, but when it comes to the college football playoff, it ain't there. I don't see the path for it based on that schedule and the ACC. But don't tell that to Carolina fans, because again, Carolina fans are used to getting their way. And yeah, it is what it is.